It's now official. Fox News is calling the Virginia governor's race for Republican Glenn Youngkin. Let's bring in Martha and Brett. It has been a hard-fought, long battle here. There's been a lot of polling. Our polling last week finally showed us that it looked like likely voters were going to surge for Youngkin.
But if you look at where Youngkin went from the beginning, and he was not counted in this race at all, dealing with a former governor who had a Democratic machine in a state that Joe Biden won by 10 points. He was not well known. He was way back in the pack. In fact, he had to work hard to win a primary.
Hello guys, what a night. It is now official. Glenn Youngkin has been elected. He is going to be the next governor of Virginia. I was staying up last night, and what a night it was. Watching the results come in. Watching it with Red Eagle Politics, actually. And I remember the first one who called it for Youngkin was Dave Wasserman of Cook Political Report. And after that, they just came pouring in. And when I went to bed, he was leading by a bit more. Now it looks like, well, okay, more than 95% is reporting, and and the lead is down to just 2 points. It might even shrink even more. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that Prince William has now become... He is now down to 40. He was at like 47. I believe that in Enrico he was much higher up. McAuliffe was leading in Enrico by the same margin as Youngkin was leading in Chesterfield. But it doesn't really matter. Youngkin has won. And now people's eyes turn to the New Jersey election, where Citarelli is holding a super thin lead against Phil Murphy. And this is, I mean, it's just over 1,000 votes. And the map is shaking up this way. It is the typical counties that are Republican and Democrat, what you might expect. But it is, to be honest, not looking too good for Citarelli at this moment. The biggest pool of Republican votes in New Jersey is Ocean County, and yeah, it is 100% in. Monmouth is also a big source of votes, and it is 97% in. So it's not that it doesn't have good margins and good raw votes from these counties, but it is not enough, because if you go further down to these blue areas, this one has 10% left. This one has 12% left in Camden. And all of these Republican counties are basically 100% reporting, 99% in Cumberland. And considering that the Democratic counties are still reporting votes and the lead of Citarelli is so small, I do believe that he is not going to overcome Phil Murphy in this race. But it has been a squeaker, and it has been so exciting to see that, well, the Republicans won in Virginia, and now we're all looking at New Jersey. I guess we were expecting to hear that, well, Democrats won New Jersey, now we're all looking at Virginia. But no. So it's not a big win as it might have looked earlier in the night. I must say, personally, I had hoped for even better results in some of these suburbs. I was hoping he would do better in Enrico and both Loudoun and Prince William, actually. Fairfax, still down by 30. I mean, it is doable considering the turnout was at that level. I mean, Biden got over 400,000 votes in Fairfax. Glenn Youngkin almost got as many votes as Trump did. I think he got like 160 or something. So a lot of voters changed and voted for Youngkin. And of course he did better in Arlington and Alexandria. So take a look at exit polls. Now we are looking at the governor exit polls. DC suburbs went for McAuliffe, 67 to 32. Central Virginia, which I'm not really sure what is defined as Central Virginia. Anyway, favorite is Youngkin, and it's 20% of the population. Hampton Roads is really just a tie. McAuliffe by 2. I'm not sure where it is, but the Richmond South Side, that is showing a 10-point win for Youngkin, and that is really the epitome of this county here, Chesterfield. And then it's the mountains, which is like Western Virginia. This is Trump country, of course he's going to win there by big margins. But what really convinced me early on that he was going to win was the exit polls on age. Yes, McAuliffe is winning young voters by 7 points, but they are only 10%. If you look at older voters, 30 to 44, 45 to 64, they only favor Youngkin by 2 points each, but they are much bigger groups. And of course, 65 or older is 26% of voters, and they are favoring Youngkin by 8. So it clearly is looking good for Youngkin based on these numbers. Party ID wins in independents by 9, and considering they are almost a third of Virginians, that's a good win. Race numbers among black voters are not too bad actually, 61% of white voters, while McAuliffe can hold on to 87% of blacks to 13 for Youngkin. Latinos, not too big of a shift here, I guess it is Virginia, so Latinos aren't that Republican. Asian voters, quite good numbers I think for Youngkin, more than a third. This is important. Youngkin wins males by 12 points, while McAuliffe only wins females by 6. Females are a bit more, but it doesn't cut it. Population density, Youngkin wins the suburbs, of course he wins the rural areas, but 61% of voters in Virginia lives in suburbs. Yeah, not good for Terry. Abortion, what you might expect. This one is exciting. College graduates actually go for McAuliffe by a big margin, 17 points. But non-college are a bit more, and they go for Youngkin by 20. Yeah, so, I mean, it was a doozy this night. So now it is only to keep this energy going on until next year and to the midterms. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.